Imagine a painter in front of a canvas, so engrossed in the strokes of color and light that time blurs and hunger vanishes. Or an athlete at the edge of triumph, whose movements flow like water through rock. They are not merely focused, they are in the zone. Psychologists call this the flow state, and it is one of the most profound experiences we can have as humans. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, the Hungarian-American psychologist who popularized the concept, described flow as the sweet spot where challenge meets skill, where action and awareness merge, and the sense of self evaporates. This video explores the nature of flow, its psychological mechanics, its benefits, and how we might summon it more often in our lives, not as a rare gift but as a repeatable art. Flow isn't a mysterious muse that visits the lucky few. It's a psychological phenomenon with discernible features such as intense focus and concentration on the present moment, a merging of action and awareness, a loss of reflective self-consciousness, a sense of personal control over the activity, altered perception of time, an experience that is intrinsically rewarding. In simpler terms, when we're in flow, we are wholly immersed in what we're doing, and we do it for the joy of doing it. The task feels like an extension of ourselves. We aren't laboring for praise or money or to look good on Instagram, we're there because we must be. As William Zinsser might put it, flow is writing without fretting, painting without posing, living without looking over our shoulder. Flow occurs at the intersection of challenge and skill. If a task is too easy, we become bored, too hard, and we grow anxious. But when the task matches our ability just right, when the difficulty stretches us without snapping us, we enter flow. This zone is often illustrated in a diagram where the x-axis represents skill and the y-axis represents challenge. Flow happens along the diagonal. The higher the skill, the higher the challenge must be to sustain flow. The magic lies in the balance. The brain in flow is a marvel. The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for self-criticism, time awareness, and ego, goes quiet. In its place, dopamine and norepinephrine flood our systems, enhancing focus and motivation. This chemical cocktail is the body's way of saying yes, keep going. And perhaps most beautifully, the sense of effort drops. One becomes less a doer than a vessel through which doing happens. Flow is not just a good feeling, it's a peak human experience with deep psychological and practical payoffs. Here's what the science, and lived experience, tells us. Enhanced performance. Whether in sports, the arts, teaching, or programming, those who regularly experience flow perform at significantly higher levels. This is not magic, it's concentration made kinetic. Take Michael Jordan for instance. His infamous flu game was not powered by health but by flow. In that altered state, he seemed to transcend pain, fatigue, and pressure. Flow turns humans into phenomena, increased learning and skill development. Because flow happens when we're pushing our limits, it's also a prime condition for learning. Skills improve most rapidly in this state, and knowledge becomes embedded with less effort. Language learners immersed in real conversations experience it. A violinist in their 10th hour of practice, fingers blistered but happy, knows it. Flow becomes a forge where skill is tempered. Elevated creativity. Flow reduces inhibition and frees associative thinking. Writers describe sentences forming themselves, musicians find melodies in their fingertips. Creativity flows, literally. Writers often report entering a trance-like rhythm. Ernest Hemingway famously wrote every morning at dawn, chasing flow with disciplined ritual. He did not wait for inspiration, he made space for it. Greater life satisfaction. Flow-rich lives tend to be happier. Csikszentmihalyi's research shows that people who often enter flow report higher levels of well-being, even in the absence of material rewards. Why? Because we are happiest when we are engaged, not distracted, not idle, not overstimulated. We thrive in challenge. We bloom in focus. Resilience against anxiety and depression. Because flow is an escape from self-conscious rumination, it can serve as a natural remedy for anxiety and depression. It's not a cure, but it's a temporary reprieve, an inner sanctuary. Just as a forest can be sanctuary from a noisy city, flow is sanctuary from a noisy mind. In the moment of doing, we are free from the endless narration of the self. Flow doesn't arrive with a trumpet, it must be invited. Here's how. Set clear goals. Ambiguity is the enemy of flow. Goals need not be grand. Write one paragraph, land one free throw, solve one equation, but they must be specific. Choose the right level of challenge. As mentioned, flow lives in the tension between ease and struggle. Adjust the challenge to match your skill. Raise the bar when bored, lower it when overwhelmed. Eliminate distractions. Flow requires unbroken attention. That means airplane mode, closed tabs, silence, or your favorite focus playlist. The world must narrow to one beam of light. Seek immediate feedback. Whether through a coach, an interface, or self-correction, feedback helps you stay in the channel. It's the echo that says, you're on the right path. Practice regularly. Flow is a muscle. The more you practice deep work, the easier it is to slip into flow. Routine becomes ritual, and ritual becomes reverie. Embrace the struggle. There's a moment just before flow, uncomfortable, awkward, resistant. Push through that threshold. Flow lives on the other side of initial friction. In an age of buzzing phones, instant notifications, and chronic multitasking, flow is harder to come by. We live fragmented lives, and attention, our most precious currency, is constantly spent on trifles. Yet precisely because of this, the flow state becomes not just desirable but urgent. The modern world teaches us to flit from one task to another, grazing on novelty, but flow demands depth. It calls us to burrow into one task, one moment, oneself, until the noise subsides and the music begins. We are addicted to interruption, yet starved of immersion. In reclaiming flow, we reclaim something essential: our attention, our time, our joy. Flow is not confined to the concert hall or the basketball court. It lives equally in the laboratory, the lecture room, the kitchen, and the code. Teachers who lose themselves in the rhythm of explanation, scientists who chase a hypothesis until dawn, surgeons who move with meditative precision, all know flow. In education, fostering flow among students can mean designing lessons that are both challenging and engaging, that offer autonomy and clear goals. A teacher who transforms a boring topic into a meaningful puzzle opens the gate to flow. In organizations, it can mean building environments that reward focus over frenzy, creation over busyness. Companies like Google and IDEO cultivate flow not with pressure, but with permission. To think deeply, to follow curiosity, to create without fear. Even in parenting, moments of flow emerge, in storytelling, in building Lego cities, in spontaneous backyard adventures. Anywhere attention meets meaning, flow can bloom. There is a delightful paradox at the heart of flow. To experience effortlessness, we must make effort. Flow does not come from laziness, it comes from total engagement. It is the result of trying so fully that we disappear into the doing. Flow is not about performing or pretending, it is about the pure pursuit of something worth doing for its own sake, until the self dissolves into the song. In the end, flow is freedom, not from responsibility but from distraction, not from work, but from worry. It is not an escape from life, but a return to it. To live a life without flow is to live ankle-deep in experience, forever skimming the surface. But to live with flow is to wade into the deeper waters of existence, where time fades and we come most alive. The flow state is not a luxury of artists or athletes. It is a natural inheritance, a cognitive current that runs through all of us, waiting to be tapped. It asks only for our attention and our effort. So pick up your brush, your ball, your book. Choose your challenge. Focus. Begin. The stream is waiting. At the heart of all this, beyond the brain science, the performance boost, the poetic metaphors, lies a question both ancient and immediate. What does it mean to live well? In our hurried century where productivity often trumps presence, the flow state offers more than a performance hack. It offers a philosophy, a worldview, perhaps even a salvation. When the Greeks spoke of eudaimonia, flourishing, they meant more than pleasure. They meant activity aligned with virtue, purpose, and fulfillment. Flow is one modern path to that ancient goal. It doesn't promise ease but engagement, not comfort, but clarity. In flow we are not consumers of life, but participants. This doesn't mean every hour must be filled with flow, nor should it be. There is beauty in the stillness too, but to seek moments of flow is to seek moments where the soul hums in harmony with action, where the ticking of the clock falls away and what remains is raw, radiant doing. Flow also teaches us humility. It humbles the ego, it strips away the performative mask and leaves behind the pure actor. The painter is not a person showcasing art, but someone being painted through. The coder is not solving problems for applause, but dancing with logic in silence. In a world that prizes recognition, flow shifts our compass. It reminds us that the truest rewards are internal, that joy can be self-sustaining, that excellence can be its own applause. For educators, this has profound implications. To teach is not merely to deliver information but to design experiences where students forget they are being taught. A math problem can become a mystery to be unraveled. A writing prompt can become a portal. Flow is not just a personal phenomenon, it's an educational philosophy. For workers, it means rethinking our relationship with labor. Instead of chasing external validation, we might ask, is there flow in this? Can I find the thread that tugs me into full presence? Even mundane tasks can become meaningful if we frame them correctly. Washing dishes becomes a meditation. Organizing files becomes a choreography. And for creators, flow is a faithful muse, not always easy to summon but always worth pursuing. Not a burst of genius, but the gentle river beneath all lasting work. We don't write because we have something to say, we write to discover what wants to be said, but let's not romanticize it into something unreachable. Flow is not reserved for the elite or enlightened. It belongs to anyone who dares to focus, to stretch, to try. It may find you in the kitchen, lost in the recipe, in the garden, bent over soil, in the gym, under strain. It may come unexpectedly like light through a crack, or it may arrive steadily like rain. The flow state, then, is not a destination. It is a practice, a returning, like breath, like prayer. It asks for our full attention, and in return, it gives us back ourselves, clearer, sharper, more alive. So let the world swirl, let the distractions knock, let the noise clamor, but when you can, find your focus. Feed it, follow it, lose yourself, and in doing so, find something better. You alive, awake in the flow, wake in the